What have I just witnessed in that second half? After a bright start, it ended Watford 2, Newcastle 1 at Vicarage Road, and Newcastle's season is fizzling out before our eyes. Now there's quite a bit to get into today after Newcastle's second defeat in 4 days, and it's beginning to feel like the wheels have fallen off again for Newcastle as we approach the end of the season. Before we get any further into the match today, please consider subscribing to this channel and hitting the like button too, and also please let me know what you thought of the match today in the comments below. Now, thankfully, Newcastle are safe because based on that second half performance, when things go against us, there seems to be a lack of belief that we can turn games around. It's such a shame, really, that we're walking away from this match with such strong feelings of anger because we'd actually played pretty well up until half time. Okay, it wasn't a classic and it was nowhere near the level of Bournemouth away last week, but we were definitely worthy of our 1-0 lead at half-time thanks to Dwight Gale's third goal since Project Restart. But as soon as Matt Ritchie clumsily brought down Firmino in the penalty area in the second half to allow Troy Deeney to score the equaliser, there was only one team who looked like they could go on and win the game. And they did. Obviously, Watford stepped it up in the second half, but the fact that our players weren't able to match what Watford were doing was massively annoying. So who's to blame for this? Naturally, a lot of the social media criticism after the match was aimed at Steve Bruce, and in my view, a lot of that criticism is warranted. Now, I was actually pretty pleased with the starting 11 he sent out today. It looked quite attacking, and with Joe Linton finally dropped and Gale up front with a start, I believe we'd look more of a threat, which we absolutely did in the first half. The only real question mark for me was Fabian Schär playing in central midfield. It's an experiment we've seen a few times now, and the result is as predictable as Troy Deeney scoring that second penalty today to hand Watford the win. Schär simply does not play well in that role, and his recent performances have been a concern in general anyway, regardless of the position he starts the game in. I'm not sure what is going on with Matty Longstaff and why he wasn't deemed worthy of a start by Bruce, but perhaps that's telling us more about the fact that he might be leaving the club in the summer after all. Also, Bruce's substitutions were a bit bizarre. Ben Taleb replacing Gale in the 78th minute was presumably to play out for a point by shuffling Joe Linton back up front. However, it backfired almost straight away as Watford's winning goal came just a few minutes later in the 82nd minute after Manquillo stupidly got himself tangled up with Sarr, who made it so easy for the referee to give the second penalty. So yes, Steve Bruce must bear a lot of the blame for this defeat, but it is too easy to lay all of the blame at Bruce's door. In my opinion, at some point the players need to take some of the blame too. Why weren't they able to raise their level enough in the second half? Why couldn't they react to what Watford were doing? There were far too many passengers, and after half-time it was completely unacceptable, especially after a decent first half where it did look like they were trying. But here's the thing, results like today and performances like the second half are exactly why we need a takeover. The bottom line is we are such an average team. Yes, we're capable of looking pretty good at times, but we're more prone to look absolutely shocking. We simply do not play at a consistent level that is high enough for this league. Now, I'm trying not to be knee-jerk here, but going forwards, if Steve Bruce remains the manager at the start of next season, I will be just as worried about relegation as I was at the start of this season because in my view, I don't trust that he will be as lucky as he has been this season. I don't think he can do it again 2 seasons in a row. I know we've had some decent results more recently and the football has improved, which I'm grateful for and I'm sure most people are grateful for. We certainly look better going forwards than we have done for large parts of the autumn and winter. But would you trust Steve Bruce to guide us to another 40 plus points finish again next season? It would be a massive gamble that I would not want to take. For me, club legend Alan Shearer hit the nail on the head once again in his pre-match comments live on Amazon Prime Sport. When asked if Newcastle had had a successful season, Shearer said, "No, it means that Steve has done a very good job. He has done as good a job as he could have done with what he has available. That doesn't mean it has been a successful season. At times, some of the football has been very poor, albeit over the past few weeks, Newcastle have scored more goals." Shearer then went on to reiterate his stance that Newcastle are currently a club in limbo. And that is absolutely true. As clubs look ahead to plan for next season, Newcastle United are currently don't even know who their owner is going to be next season, so how can we possibly plan properly? This is what Shearer had to say about that issue. Newcastle don't know what kind of player they can go for until we know more about whether the takeover can happen. And with the new season being just possibly 2 months away, it has never been more important for the Premier League to make a decision about the takeover. And I'll be brutally honest here. If this takeover is rejected, then I really genuinely feel like Newcastle United will be on the precipice of disaster once again and would undoubtedly, in my mind, be one of the favourites for relegation next season. We really are at a fork in the road in my mind, and one way doesn't bear thinking about at all, and annoyingly, the other way I just won't allow myself to dream about just yet. The destination of those two routes are poles apart, and it is crucial for Newcastle United Football Club that we get the decision from the Premier League that we need to get rid of Mike Ashley. Perhaps by the time we kick off against Spurs on Wednesday night at St James's Park, we'll have more clarity on the takeover situation. But I'm not sure we will. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please hit the like button and consider subscribing too if you haven't already. And I will see you really soon for another video.